Anti-Afro Svengalis. Hopefully you caught part one. I put the link to part one below the title in case you missed it. I'm following up on part one, and this is a commentary link to part one. Take a look, please, at this photo. It is not possible to scapegoat a person unless the person is willing to assume that role. And there are some people who fall into that role because they give what? They relinquish a lot of their personal power to others because the person is doing what? Putting forth any method they can possibly come up with, whether it's rough or smooth. They're going to try to put you in a position where you actually feel guilty for their misdeeds, their bad acts, their crimes, the outcomes that result from their behavior. However, it only works if a person is willing to participate in that process. Are you willing to participate in that process? Well, let me tell you something. Ever since this whole situation, latest situation, started rumbling, it was very obvious what the strategy was. It's a weak strategy, but it's a strategy that is all too common in these YouTube streets. A target is identified, and you have all of these different methods pushing to get this individual to do what the group wants them to do. You could have no association with this group. These people, you don't know. You may have never spoken to them, but they still think they have a right to impose upon you something that isn't your responsibility. So let's make it specific about what's been going on. There is a specific reason why I wasn't posting videos. I knew what the effort, I knew what they were trying to do. When I say they, those who are running around to these platforms, there's NPW, who by the way is MIA. I knew this was happening. Did I know she was going to go MIA? I can't say I knew that, but I knew something was brewing. You have this other person over here, the fake tarot card reader, who kept posting videos, wanting me to respond, wanting me to give an opinion. I knew what they were trying to do, and I wasn't cooperating. Put up as many videos as you want to put up. You're not getting me to jump around to respond so you can take the heat off yourself. The heat is on. The heat should be on. Those who are engaging in wrongdoing, the heat belongs on you. I'm not assuming the heat. That is absolutely every bit deserving for you to assume, not for me to assume. This NPW is running around becoming more frantic, being whipped up in a more wild frenzy of bizarre behaviors and cursing and screaming and flushing toilets and offering people shit, talking about people's children, talking about people's mamas, bringing in her adult daughters to do what? This is someone who is at the same time demanding that you give her respect. I wasn't participating. There is no discussion to be had. I just wanted to come on and let you know what was going on. And I had stated to many people, yes, she's making comments about you. Yes, she's making comments about you. Is there a reason that you have to respond? Is it necessary that you respond? This person is spiraling. Obviously, something is going on. And if you just hang on for a few more seconds or days or minutes, however you want to characterize it, there's going to be some revelation, because it was very clear to me this person was working very hard to obscure facts. The same with this fraud ass banker who keeps trying to come up with schemes, figuring out how to make money off me. You can't make money with yourself, so you got to use someone else's name. And you know what? That isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that happens here on YouTube. But when it's full of lies and bullshit, I'm not participating in that. And when people engage in these types of behaviors, it always comes around full circle. What you have to keep in mind, nothing can be done to you if somebody is lying about what you're doing here on YouTube. Whatever the case, there can be nothing that anyone can do with lies. especially if you're not cooperating, especially if you're not reciprocating. People who want to float lies in any form are not going to succeed unless they can back up with legitimate information what they're claiming. So, what's the point of running around in circles knowing that people are spiraling into frenzies, desperately trying to get people to talk about other things other than what they're doing? What you see on YouTube or social media is a representation of the real world. There are people who are going to try any and everything they can to get you to go along with whatever scam they got going. You've seen it. Pick out the worst tragedy: 9/11, all kinds of things. You have the scammers. The massacre out there in Las Vegas from that hotel, you have the scammers. They're everywhere. It doesn't matter how little or how large their take is. The whole thing about scamming, it's a whole fixation on control, thinking you have the upper hand, thinking you're outsmarting people, using lies and schemes. They will try anything. They'll talk about their supposed childhood atrocities. They'll hype up their illnesses. They'll tell you all their ailments. I mean, they want you in a position where you won't resist, you won't question what they're doing. And if that doesn't work, they'll start trying to lay a guilt trip on you, making up lies about you, wanting you to be in the position to come on to the international airwaves and defend yourself. That's what they're relying on. So their claims and their accusations and their lies become more and more and more bizarre. And that's when I just put the brakes on and let them keep going. You got to be out of your cotton picking mind if you think I'm going to jump up here and defend anything that these demons and freaks have been putting out. And you know, I was telling a couple of people, if you want to respond, by all means, respond. But why don't you consider just sitting back and watch what reveals and watch what materializes? You can best believe those screaming the loudest, the most frequent, are the ones who are trying the hardest to keep you away from something about themselves they don't want you to know. They drown you out. Every time they get on the platform, it doesn't take long before they start screaming and hollering. They don't want to answer any of your questions, but they got a whole lot to say about you. They're trying their hardest to keep the focus off them. They want you to focus on the bizarre claims that they're making, the outrageous lies that they're spewing. They want people to feel anxiety and angst so they can feel some sense of relief, even if it's temporary. If I'm talking and going on this person's family, then that means there'll be little or no focus on mine. And we've seen that happen right up here. This Ki Pissy person brought up again, and I think this is well-deserved bad karma. How this person decided again to start attacking families, start attacking intact relationships, getting louder and louder, and then didn't get the response that he wanted. So he decided he was going to bring up this lie again about Gerald taking $10,000 from a legal fund and buying a car. And I was saying, you know what? Something's up. What exactly it is, I can't tell you, but this is bizarre. There's a reason why this person is bringing this up again. This person is trying his hardest to steer people away from focusing on him, because there are people focusing on him. Then out comes the revelation that he has a son, same name as him, Donald Winters, who has an extensive criminal background, active, including sex crimes. Wow. I can guarantee you if Gerald Palmer had children in that situation, Winters wouldn't give a damn about trying to spread a lie about Gerald stealing $10,000. He wouldn't give a damn. He would be focused 100% on revelations regarding Gerald's children had the situation been reversed. These folks were up here demanding Gerald answer questions about a $2,200 legal fund where no one is complaining about it. They just start bringing it up again. Bored, you got nothing else you want to do. But then here comes a revelation regarding this dude's adult son. Changes the landscape. Now we know what you've been trying to hide, running around here trashing everybody as if they are scourge of the earth. And what do you know? You have issues within your own family that you need to address. And let's make this clear. Father is not son. Son is not father. But you do have a lot of nerve trying to come besmirching people and making up bullshit that you have absolutely no evidence to back up. But it's a verified fact about this person's son who shares the same name. So that's why when people start going off like they do, it's best to just pull back, sit back, and just listen and wait. Because it won't be long before truth is revealed. We've seen it, and I can guarantee you there's more to come. NPW's crickets, that's another video I'm going to be posting. All of that frenzy, all of that screaming, all of that hollering, it's a dead giveaway. And boy, was it ever a giveaway. I mean, what else is there to say? There's not much else to say. The situation pretty much speaks for itself. Whether it's true or not, who knows? The allegations are out there. All of a sudden, NPW's MIA, after being whipped into the frenzy and screaming and hollering and cursing and carrying on. Now, crickets. But let me tell you something though. Not necessarily firm and hard crickets, because there's a spokesperson who's communicating. You can tell that this person has been in contact with MPW because the angst of this person when conveying, you just got to do something about AAS. That's coming straight from NPW. Straight from her, trying to blame everybody for her own missteps, her own of this person when conveying, you just got to do something about AAS. That's coming straight from NPW. Straight from her, trying to blame everybody for her own missteps, her own mistakes, her own missteps, her own poor judgment. Whether it's true or not, what I just stated about NPW is true. Poor judgment. The judgment is shot to hell. Someone who's coming on here crying and whining about respect me as a professional. No, disrespect you as an unprofessional. You are not professional. You cannot force people to respect you for anything. And look what we have before us. Silence. Running your mouth, lying on people, cursing people out, flushing toilets, but nothing. You know, there isn't much more to say. What else is there to say? It's a dead giveaway when you have people running around raging and screaming and hollering at others. And you're going, this can't be it. This small issue that they're trying to bring up, instead of focusing on, hey, what am I going to do about this situation offline, rather than trying to impress people online and put up a facade about a life, about circumstances that frankly don't exist. People should be focusing on handling their business off YouTube instead of trying to make others a part of their business as crash dummies. We're not crash dummies in your life. We have nothing to do with your life. Quit trying to use us as diversionary tactics. It's not going to work. Whatever you're running from, whatever you're trying to hide, it's going to blow up. And if you're really remiss, you are going to share this information with strangers. Strangers, especially of the backstabbing variety who have showed their tendencies online. It's just poor judgment to put trust in those who you're going to tell all this personal information about you. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. You know there's much more coming down the pike. In the meantime, You know the drill. Buyer beware.